Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is present, everyone. Thanks for joining me for a little bit more SPTV, where every single day is one day closer to Scientology losing its tax-exempt status. Guys, we are talking today about another missing Scientologist. You guys would be shocked how many Scientologists are missing. Especially missing from all of the friends and the family that they have who are outside of Scientology, who go for years and years, decades, without being able to reach their loved ones inside the Scientology bubble. And one of the benefits of the SPTV network having grown to such a great size, especially compared to the relatively tiny size of Scientology. For those of you who may not know, there's only about 25,000, depending on how you define Scientologist or active Scientologist, 25 to 35,000 Scientologists in the entire world. And that's a generous estimate. That's a very generous estimate. I'm getting close to 170,000 subscribers. So, and that's just my channel. That's not all the other tens and tens of thousands of other subscribers that all the other SPTV network channels have. The large size of SPTV compared to the small size of Scientology has put us in a position of where we are batting 1,000% right now on finding missing Scientologists, finding current information on missing Scientologists. And we have, and so that's why I'm doing this video. We're doing a full court press, trying to get information on Andrew Barton, who has not been seen or heard from by his family for decades. I'm going to read for you an email that was sent out by Janice Grady. Many of you will recognize the name. Janice Grady is one of the two hosts of the fantastic Scientology SPTV Network YouTube channel called Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. Janice Grady spent 12 years working directly under L. Ron Hubbard on the Apollo ship. She then spent a heck of a lot more years working under David Miscavige. And her co-host on that channel, Mark Fisher, also spent an incredible number of years working directly for David Miscavige. The stories they tell on their channel are phenomenal, so I recommend that everyone go and subscribe to that channel. I'm going to read the email from Janice, but I'm not going to show it on screen. Just, I'm sure there's email addresses here that I'm not supposed to make public. So let me just read this to you guys. And for everyone in the comments section, whether it's the live chat or whether it's the replay, please feel free to share any information publicly about Andrew Barton that you may know, or you can contact me privately at growingupinscientology@gmail.com, and I'll forward the information on to the appropriate people. Here is the email from Janice. Oh my God, can you guys tell how much I'm sweating? I've been running around like crazy today. Okay, Janice says, can we do a joint campaign and get a search going for Andrew Barton? Maybe one of the listeners will know of him. Andrew Barton is the youngest child of Noel and Marion Barton. I don't know if that's Noel or Noel, but anyway, Noel and Marion Barton. My family has known Noel since before I was born. He was the first person my father got into Scientology from his lectures. Andrew's older sisters are still in the Sea Organization. His older sisters are Liz Ingber and Nettie Alcock. Andrew joined the Sea Org around 1988 at the Freewinds in time for the maiden voyage. He remained on the Freewinds for years. This is a family that has been destroyed by Scientology for at least the last 30 plus years, with 3 daughters and a son all joining the Sea Org and disconnecting from them. One later blew the Sea Org. In Scientology, to blow means to go AWOL. You leave without permission, without doing the correct steps that Scientology wants you to do before you leave. One later blew the Sea Org and reconnected to her parents, Marion and Maz. I'm just reading it as it says it. I don't necessarily, no, I don't know those people. And I'm assuming I'm reading this right. One later blew the Sea Org and reconnected to her parents, parentheses, Marion/Maz. But she has since passed away. Her sisters wouldn't even talk to her, even when she was on her deathbed. I know this as my sister and I were there instead. In 2013, apparently Liz and Nettie had not seen their brother in 6 years. I heard he was either back on the Freewinds or in the RPF in Clearwater. The RPF stands for Rehabilitation Project Force, and that is the reconditioning and labor camp for Sea Org members who it's sort of considered an alternative to being declared a suppressive person and expelled. If you're a Sea Org member, instead they can send you to the RPF, which literally, I mean, it's not an exaggeration. It is a labor and reconditioning camp for Sea Org members that, at least at this time, by all reports, does not currently exist, but that could change at any time. Okay. I heard, in 2013, apparently Liz and Nettie had not seen their brother in 6 years. I heard he was either back on the free ones or in the RPF in Clearwater. Years earlier, Lizzie had called her older brother, William, who had never been in Scientology, and asked if he had seen Andrew. He had not. Lizzie called back later and said, never mind, but she would never answer William's questions on where he was. This does indicate that Andrew had blown, and the Scientologists were doing the blow drill and trying to hunt him down, and were contacting non-Scientologist family members to see if he had shown up. So that is what that means to me. It goes on. His parents have been searching for him for years, and even did an interview with Brian Seymour of Sydney, Australia News about 15 years ago, trying to locate him. His parents, who live in Perth, Western Australia, are in their late 80s, and their mother is now in a nursing home. Since they lost 3 daughters and a son to the Sea Org, it would mean the world to them to just know where Andrew is and that he is okay, or better yet, get a phone call from him and his sisters. Andrew was born in a hospital in Kew, Melbourne, Victoria on 19th March, 1964. By the way, that's K-E-W. I don't know if that's Q or Q, but K-E-W. Where was it? Andrew was born in a hospital in Kew, Melbourne, Victoria on 19th March, 1964. I think the name of the hospital was St. Andrews. Any help from everyone putting the search out on their channels would be appreciated. Thank you, Janice. Wow. All these parents are hoping for is a phone call. They just want to know he's alive. They just want to know he's okay. God forbid, maybe they want to know what continent he's on, whether he's married, whether he's in the Sea Org, out of the Sea Org. Does he have children? This is, I say this, I say this a lot in a lot of my videos, but I think it bears repeating. Scientology is failing as an organization, as a group, as a movement, whatever the hell they want to call themselves these days, because of how horribly they treat their members, because of how they destroy families. You might think Scientology is failing as an organization because everyone knows about their crazy Xenu beliefs. That's not why Scientology is failing. There are a lot of very large, thriving, and successful organizations, successful in terms of growing the membership, that believe in shit that is just as or crazier than Scientology. And I'm not going to name names because my channel is called Growing Up in Scientology. It's not called Growing Up in any of those other groups. So it's I said I'm not going to name names, but without naming names, there are organizations that believe stuff just as crazy or crazier than Scientology, who have their own states, who have their own senators, who have their own presidential candidates. Okay. I'm not picking on any organizations. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about success, organizations that are growing and thriving, I'm not making value judgments. I'm not saying organizations that are better than or worse than. I'm just saying Scientology is a failing organization, despite what David Miscavige would want all of his members to believe. It's literally been shrinking nonstop since the late 80s, early 90s. There used to be about 100,000 active members at the very, very, very peak. And that includes, the most lowest introductory level members. For you guys who, it was revealed recently, some statistics were revealed that from the beginning of Scientology, 1954, when records started to be kept in Washington, D.C., there have only been 400,000 people who have done what they call a major Scientology course. And that's ever. That's not at one time. That's cumulatively since 1954. And that includes people who are almost certainly being double counted, triple counted, quattro counted. I don't know, guys. I grew up in a cult. Quadruple counted. Because if you get a typo in the name or you get married and you're in the system a bunch of times, Since 1954, only 400,000 people have done a major Scientology service. Anyway, what's my point? My point is this email, the fact that we're even having to do a campaign to find out if someone's son is even alive is serves as a perfect example for how Scientology treats its members so horribly, what little regard it has for family, what little regard it has for common decency. And that really is why Scientology is failing. So, that leopard's not going to change its spots anytime soon. I'm not even sure it's possible. And thankfully, there are platforms that can be used to get information to help families that want to know what in the world is going on with their family members. So any of you at all, let's see, I do see a couple super chats. Cassie Isaac, I'm currently in the Coachman Park. Oh, wow, you're right near me, Cassie. I left some cards near the Way to Happiness strip, but forgot to take photos. I see why David Miscavige is so pissed. The place is awesome. It's also hot as balls out here. Yes, it is incredibly hot. It is so hot, I've said for the first time, me and my family are asking ourselves, why do we still live here? And yes, Cassie, I went down to Coachman Park last week just to check it out for myself. And I was shocked at how close the concert hall is to Scientology's advanced organization. There's no way they can do auditing in that building when there's music playing. So I was pretty excited about that. Mary Sue Hubbard wants to know, question, was Andrew ever married? Would help to know names of any ex-wives and jurisdiction where likely married or divorced. Mary Sue, I just don't know, but welcome back, by the way. I just don't know. If I get that information, I might share it in a future video. Thank you very much. All right, everyone, in 15 minutes at the top of the hour, I'm going to be going live with Andrew Gold on his channel. So check that out if you're interested. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right